When I first met Daniel, he was the kind of man who made you feel safe just by being in the room. He didn't speak much, but when he did, every word carried weight. For years, that silence felt comforting. It meant peace, stability, a home. But over time, that same silence began to suffocate me. Our marriage became predictable. Same dinners, same TV shows, same quiet routines. Nothing was wrong, but nothing felt alive either. Then I met Nathan. He was a co-worker, new in the marketing department, with that easy charm that draws you in before you even notice. He laughed at everything I said, noticed when I changed my hair, remembered tiny things Daniel never seemed to. It started as harmless coffee breaks and long conversations after meetings. I told myself it was friendship, just a bit of excitement outside my dull marriage. But excitement has a way of blurring lines. One evening, after staying late at work, Nathan kissed me in the elevator. I didn't stop him. I told myself it was a mistake, but deep down, I didn't feel guilty. I just felt wanted. For weeks, I lived in two worlds. With Daniel, I played the perfect wife, cooking, smiling, pretending everything was fine. With Nathan, I was someone else, free, desirable, seen. But the double life started to unravel. I became distant. I'd flinch when Daniel tried to hold me. I hid my phone during dinner, invented fake work messages. Daniel noticed, of course. He wasn't stupid. One night, while we were eating, he asked softly, "Is there someone else?" His voice didn't break. It didn't even rise. It was calm, too calm. I froze, denied everything, and changed the subject. That night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, feeling the weight of his body turn away from mine. The next morning, I decided to cut him off. That's what Nathan had suggested. "You need space to figure out what you want," he said. "Tell your husband you need a break." It sounded mature, reasonable. So I did exactly that. I told Daniel I needed time to find myself. He didn't argue. He just nodded, said, "Okay," and walked out of the room. For a week, I stayed at my friend Melissa's apartment. I told everyone Daniel and I were taking time apart. Nathan visited me every night, filling my head with promises of how things would be different once I was free. He said he was ready for us, ready for something real. But when I returned home that Sunday evening, everything was gone: the car, his clothes, his tools. Even the framed wedding photo from the living room wall was missing. On the kitchen counter lay a single envelope with my name written neatly across it. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside was a note. Short, cold, final, asterisk, "You already left. You just didn't notice. Take care. D, asterisk." That was it. No anger, no begging, no questions. Just a man who had silently walked away. I stood there for what felt like hours, staring at the empty space where his things had been. The house suddenly felt enormous, echoing with all the words we never said. I tried calling him, but his number was disconnected. His email bounced back. Even his social media accounts were deleted. It was like he'd erased himself from my life completely. Panic set in. I called mutual friends. No one had heard from him. His job said he resigned a week ago. He hadn't even collected his final paycheck. That's when it hit me. He'd been planning this. The calm, the silence. It wasn't confusion. It was preparation. I thought I was the one leaving him. Turns out he left first. The first night alone was unbearable. Every sound in the house felt louder. The creak of the stairs, the hum of the refrigerator, the tick of the clock. I barely slept, half expecting the door to open, for him to walk in and give me a chance to explain. But he never did. Days turned into weeks. His silence was louder than any fight we'd ever had. I called his sister. She said Daniel had moved out of state, but refused to say where. He told her he needed a clean start. No forwarding address. No contact. Just gone. Nathan stayed around at first. He told me Daniel's disappearance was a sign we were meant to be together. But soon, cracks began to show. The charm faded. The compliments turned into control. Checking my phone, asking where I went, who I talked to. He'd get irritated if I didn't reply right away. What once felt exciting now felt suffocating. One night over dinner, he said, "You're lucky I stayed." Most guys would have run the second they realized you're still hung up on your husband. That sentence lodged itself in my throat. Hung up on my husband. The truth I'd been avoiding finally broke through. I miss Daniel. Not the version I romanticized. The real him. The quiet man who fixed the sink before it leaked, who brewed my coffee just right, who stayed up late building the shelf I'd wanted for months. All those small, predictable things I'd found dull. They were his way of saying, I love you. The guilt started to rot me from the inside out. I scrolled through old photos, read our messages, listened to old voicemails I'd once ignored. Every word from him felt heavier now, filled with a patience I never deserved. Then one afternoon, I got an email from an unknown address. The subject line was blank. The message was 2 sentences. Asterisk I left because you already decided to. Don't look for me. Start over. Asterisk. No signature, but I knew it was Daniel. The way he wrote, measured, restrained. It was him. I stared at the screen until the words blurred. Don't look for me. That night, I broke down completely. I ended things with Nathan right then. He laughed, called me unstable, said I'd regret losing someone who actually wanted me. But he was wrong. I already knew what real loss felt like. I packed his things, left them outside, and sat on the kitchen floor, surrounded by the echoes of everything I destroyed. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the blinds, hitting the empty space where Daniel's photo used to hang. For the first time, I saw that blank wall not as punishment, but as consequence. Months passed. I started therapy. I stopped wearing the necklace Nathan gave me. I sold the house and moved into a small apartment. I thought maybe a new place would silence the memories, but it didn't. Healing wasn't about forgetting. It was about facing what I'd done. Sometimes I still imagine Daniel somewhere far away. Maybe by the coast he always said he'd retire to. I picture him at peace, maybe even smiling again, maybe loving someone new. That thought hurts, but it's also the only thing that lets me sleep. Because the truth is, I didn't lose him the night I cheated. I lost him the moment I stopped seeing his quiet love as enough. People think affairs are about passion or desire, but they're really about emptiness, the kind you carry inside and expect someone else to fill. Daniel didn't leave because I betrayed him. He left because he realized I was already gone long before I ever walked out the door. And every time I hear silence now, I remember that was his language all along. I just never listened.